Says, good evening, sisters. I have a big problem that I need help with. Surprise, surprise. I'm a banker and my wife is a nurse. We've been married for 3 months and something has been happening which I find very bizarre. We decided not to have sex till marriage, even though both of us aren't virgins. On our honeymoon, my wife asked me to smack her bum with my belt as a sort of
kinky
foreplay.
Hello.
I was really surprised about what I was hearing, but I thought to myself, maybe she's just being a bit kinky.
Like you said.
I started smacking her, but she kept shouting, harder, harder. Hey! I was like, I'll hurt her, but she said I should just do it, what she wanted.
Okay.
I was not too pleased, but I did it regardless.
Oh.
After that, we started kissing, and her subsequent requests blew my mind. She said that I should lick her armpits.
You're lying.
And then go ahead and suck her toes. In my head, I screamed, Jesus! What have I gotten myself into? She was beginning to sound upset as I questioned why she wanted that. I didn't want to ruin our first night, so I did it. Fast forward. Every time I want to make love to her, she demands these things. If I refuse, she doesn't allow me. I called her one day and registered my concerns, but she says that's what turns her on. Sisters, I can't suck toes and lick armpits for the rest of my life.
No, you cannot.
I can't do it again. Help me.
No.
Girl, this is right up.
Hey, sister will not keep us.
Okay, well.
Wow.
Waiting Musa not see forget.
Well,
Sucking toes, licking armpits. Ew!
oh no, these things are not strange.
That's why I passed it on to you.
You say?
They're not strange
You say-
stuff because see, when it comes to the sex thing, right? Of course, they have the traditional stuff that everybody knows with the penis and the vagina, the usual, and then the what they call it.
Uncanny one. No,
No, I'm not going there.
oh, I mean,
they call it there is erogenous zones or something. So they were based on a research. They are the few common places that everybody goes for. Not everybody, but almost
Most
everybody.
people.
Like the lips, maybe the
Neck,
breast, you know,
yes.
the tummy, the vagina, all those things. And then they have the other ones that if it becomes very like obsessive, that's when you call it a fetish. So that's where the girl is
She
at.
has a fetish.
Yes, she has a fetish. Because then people like, why are you looking at me like that?
oh, I mean,
we're
you're
learning.
talking.
We're learning.
We're
So,
listening.
people like weird stuff. I don't want to use the word weird because to each his own. Like that's what you want, that's what you want. People like to be choked. People like to be chained, you know, with their handcuff.
Oh.
Somebody said
The IGP
yeah,
type.
you know, like to be blindfolded. People like so many things. You see, but at the end of the day, when you like those things, you know that if you like to lick, if you like armpits or you have a fetish for armpits, you cannot do it on yourself when it comes to sex, right?
Of course.
Because the fetish can
Right?
the fetish can do with either objects or body parts, okay? And then it shouldn't be a strange thing because I think the way you're having sex, don't you do with your other body parts? It's only when it becomes an obsession. That's when you think there's a problem. But if you find somebody who's on the same page with you, there's nothing wrong with it. And for me, I have an armpit fetish. Hello? Yes.
Claudia,
I
be
do.
calming down. Wait, please.
I do. But the thing is that because I'm a woman, so if I meet somebody I like to first of all smell their armpit. So of course they have to smell clean.
Wait. Jeez. Wait, hang on. Wait. So, wait, Silla. You said you like to smell, so you actually tell them, can I smell your
I tell you,
armpit?
I just put my nose there.
How?
But that's the thing. So I mean, you're making out, you're necking, blah blah blah. Then you just put your nose.
You don't have
there,
asthma.
rub your-
Eh?
Oh no.
Do you like
no,
the taste of
that's like-
deodorant?
Of what?
Deodorant.
I know because the person doesn't have to have deodorant there.
But
It's
how
just
do you-
clean? He has to be just clean. So the
But
person
if
has
he's
to
coming,
shower.
okay.
So
when
maybe
you
somebody. This is not like a one night stand. Somebody that you know.
Someone you're in a relationship with.
Yeah. So you know, and then maybe the person also like. So you have to think about how the person responds as well. Do you understand? You don't just get up and say, well, I have a fetish for this, so I just go and do it.
I have a question.
She licks so you lick
that's what I was-
armpits.
Yes,
You're
use
taking
my
the questions out
nose
of
and
my
everything.
mouth.
And then there are men who actually will have sex with the armpit and ejaculate.
Okay.
There's a name for it, but it's very tongue twisting. I
You
don't
say?
want to
Please,
back
you
for
say?
this.
No,
so
no, don't
there's
let
a
her repeat.
name
No,
for it.
Please, it's
okay.
okay.
No, Charlie, things do.
Hey, you're telling us
You're
today.
telling us. We are finding out.
There are so many things that people do. People like to even people to fat on them.
Okay,
It's okay. Let's
okay.
answer this person's question.
So now that you
You
know
ask
say
for
things,
it.
no, hang on,
No,
hang on,
no,
hang on.
Let's
So
go
we
to
know
this.
say things day. I mean,
Yes,
for
yes.
instance, you
So-
just revealed to us that you
Yes,
said you did.
Yes.
Good.
And there's, I don't think there's anything wrong
But
with
he
it.
has a
When
problem
becomes,
with it.
Yes, so when it becomes like you're with somebody who doesn't get it, then that's when it's a problem. So
Yes.
she, knowing this,
Should
should
have
have
told him.
spoken to the guy about it. That's where I'm coming from. So
But they didn't
yeah.
have sex before marriage.
So that's why usually you have to have sex before you get
Hey,
married.
the priest will come
Wow.
and beat you.
Or why would they? Because if you had done that, you
How,
have known.
whatever happens to sexual conversations? for
Conversations.
instance?
That's
Like,
what
you
I'm
don't
also
have to
saying.
have
Either you
sex
talk about
necessarily.
it or you actually practice it, because sometimes it's not the same thing. We can talk about it, and then when it happens, we may not be connecting sexually. You see? And so you knew this thing, you waited and then just dumped it on the guy, and now you expect him to just go along with it. Now you're giving him ultimatums, like, if you don't do this, then I don't do this. So I don't know what her sexual orientation was, the first sexual encounter. I don't know how it was for her. So I don't know why she's feeling this way, but that's what works for her. So you could have discussed with the guy whilst you were waiting. I'm not saying everybody should. I'm not going to sit here and say if they wanted to wait, it's a problem or not. But I'm saying that if you had had sex before you got married, then you would have known what you were dealing with. But then they've already gotten married anyway. So what's going to happen now is either they have to come to a compromise. So the lady will have to ease the guy in now. The guy may have to make adjustments, or he will have to quit, because I don't see any way else around it. Because this is extreme. And now she's not allowing him to have sex with her because she feels like, if you can't do this for me, then I don't get turned on. She's not getting turned on. What do you want her to do? And the guy too may be the kind of, traditional guy who feels the normal
Missionary.
kiss, this, that. So they are not on the same page. That's the whole, gist of the whole thing.
All right.
So how do you get to that point? You talk about it, and then fine. The guy said he did it the first time just. He did it the first time just to please her, but he said he can't keep licking armpits for the rest of his
And
life.
toes.
And toes. But if you are clean, I don't see anything wrong with it. But
okay.
I mean, they're not on the same page. So
Right. Drea,
I mean,
I'm hardly ever speechless. But mama me
me or what?
No, everything I'm hearing right now. And to be honest, I thought I was kinky.
Oh,
child's play.
Yes,
Sister,
apparently I'm
child's play.
Charlie,
What's
you
the
don't know.
kinkiest
Maybe
thing you
I'll go
ever
ask
done?
the
I won't do handcuffs. I won't do bellets. I won't do any of those terms.
How-
Then how kinky are you then? What's the
To that
word?
point, I'm not kinky at all.
Oh, yeah. No, she just likes the idea of kink.
Idea of
Okay,
kink.
so,
Yes.
yeah, but people actually doing it. So.
Crazy, yo.
So I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I think the deodorant people, please, if you produce deodorant, start thinking about taste.
People who
flavor.
like,
Yeah.
edible deodorants,
Edible,
right? For people like Gail.
Gail and Co.
And,
okay? Our sister, no, our brother here, because he's the one who's going to have
Yeah.
to eat it. Say, you have married her. Anyway, so like Gail said, I'm going to take it from the bottom part of Gail's part, because what Gail was saying, because I feel as if, especially if you have such a weird, and I'm putting weird in quotes because I can't think of a better word, such a weird fetish, I feel as if the conversation should have been had.
Definitely, yes.
The conversation should, you are not trying to have sex, missionary and doggy. That one, if you say you're waiting and to marry, there's nothing he hasn't seen, right?
Yeah.
But armpits, like honestly, this is the first I'm hearing of it, right? So I feel as if she's being unfair to him.
Very, very.
How should he deal with it? I think they need to have a conversation, because indeed, if it's not for him, it's not for him. It's probably turning him off. So then, for the rest of their lives, how are they going to have sex? Because this one wants something done that will turn her on.
Yep.
If he does it, he's turned off. Really, they're not compatible.
At all.
That's all there is to the
Yeah.
story. Unfortunately, they are not sexually compatible. Can they become? I don't know. I don't know what brought on this her fetish for armpits. And I'm not even saying it's a disease and so she needs curing.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It is what turns her on. It is what turns her on. You need to have a conversation and see if there's any way that any of you can compromise. And I don't even want to say she should compromise simply because I don't have the same fetish. Because indeed, I know that she's entitled to enjoy her sex too. Sex shouldn't be a chore.
Right.
So you need to have a conversation. And Charlie, if you're not compatible, you're not compatible. It's one of the reasons people can get a divorce.
Yes.
Irreconcilable differences. And this is certainly irreconcilable if you have the conversation. So it's only 3 months, Charlie. Don't wait 15 years.
Right.
Deal with it now and do not be sucking toes and armpits if you don't want to say.
That's all.
We don't know what deodorant will do to you.
Claudia, let's hear your thoughts on this one.
The guy is very vanilla.
Yes,
But
he is vanilla.
I also feel he's sort of like basic in sense, like he does what is deemed to be normal. What the hegemonic definition of normal when it comes to sex. That is what he's exhibiting. The lady, on the other hand, has some like to kiss your earlobes, some like we all have different things that turn us on. So in her own right, she has the right to feel that way. But what pisses me off is she not discussing it before the marriage, which I feel is deliberate and deceitful.
I was about to say that.
Because I remember at some point I was dating a lot, and on the first date, they tell you, I like this, I like that. Like they set the pace. I remember I left one date feeling so traumatized because the things the guy said he liked, on the way home, I'm like, hey, things happen. After this guy, very well dressed, very established, like I was like, Charlie, this is it. And then he starts telling me the things he likes with so much confidence. He didn't even feel bad about it. And so when I came back and I was telling my friend, he's like, why are you kink shaming him? So it's this. Why are you kink shaming him?
Okay.
Because that is his sexual desire.
Cool.
So I've had a streak of these
Writing it down.
strange men, and one of them actually left the wife because of that. So the wife initially, then it was different because he wasn't like that before they got married. After marriage, he became curious, and the wife was like, I didn't sign up for this. So then it ended on that note because they had a child. So these desires are very normal if you are with the right person who shares the thing. It is unfair to trap someone into this. Like I said, I left that date very traumatized. But it seemed very normal. And I remember, was it last week that I was telling you that when I listed my name as Miss Prempe, some men started contacting me that they thought I was a dominatrix.
Right.
And the pictures that they sent to me left me very traumatized. These are men I've never seen in my life. And those are the things they are into men dominating them. Like, it is all of them with high heels stepping on their face. That is what turns him on. And this guy is in the tech world. Like, he wants to be repressed. That is how he goes to work. He's the boss. He comes home. And his was very specific. He wanted a black woman because traditionally, white women are supposed to dominate blacks. So for him, the dynamics is, I'm the boss. So I want you to repress me. And whatever you need, I'll give to you. Yes.
I'll do it.
Sabria said she'll do it, though.
I'll do it.
And so I forwarded some of these pictures to my friend, and she was so traumatized. She's like, don't send me anything. I don't want to know. I don't want to hear. So I feel this guy, because I feel I've been in that situation so many times, it can be traumatizing if you are not used to it. And even with me, that I would say I've become so exposed to it, there are levels to it. You still hear some and it shocks you. So I would advise him to move. Go now. You are incompatible. And like I just said, a man I went on a date with said he had left his wife. because the wife said, I didn't sign up for this. And you have every right to do that. If you're not clicking in the bedroom, don't suppress your feelings. Life is too short.
Yeah.
And we tend to make it seem like, oh, marriage should be so difficult to break. But marriage is a contract.
Yeah.
You made a contract based on certain information. Now you've realized that they hid information from you, which is a breach of contract. So don't feel bad. She's not going to change. And from what you are saying, you're not going to suck her armpit. And you shouldn't if you don't want to. Sex is meant to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
So please, don't waste time. She's not going to change. Move on. I don't think she'll say, okay, because my husband doesn't like it, I'll stop.
No.
She'll go and do it.
It's
That
not
one.
even fair to her.
She'll do it behind your back.
Yeah.
Do it. She might keep up appearances at home, be the vanilla wife, and then go and try her kinks with another guy who is probably stuck in a marriage with a woman who is not liking it, and they'll be doing their stuff. Yeah, but from where I sit, the kinks are normal. At some point, you might think they're in the majority, depending on the pool of men you are meeting. And you can't even talk about it because my friend actually shut me down that I was kink shaming. I didn't even know that was a word. Yeah, so now they have rights.
We're learning, Padria.
So I just remembered that a friend of mine 2 or 3 days ago who's just started talking to somebody, and he called me and said, I've blocked her. I said, oh, because it seemed to be going very well.
Right.
And he forwarded a text that she had sent to him and the things that she wants done to her. And towards the end, she says, while you progressively choke me.
See, I mentioned that.
Hey, you're actually reading the text.
Yes.
Let me
While
see
he
this.
progressively choked me. He said, please, all I could think about, it was all good and kinky until the choking bit. Then all I could imagine was me hurting someone's poor child.
Oh.
What if she comes to die on me? I'll go to jail. Nobody will believe she asked me to. I have blocked her.
Nanyan.
Wow.
So basically, I feel like if they had this conversation,
Yes.
You wouldn't have married him.
Yeah.
no.
And deceitful. So I think they should put yourself.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
from experience, she won't change.
Yeah,
That's what turns her on.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, but Gail has told us,
It's
she
not-
got-
it's
yes,
the
it's
sun.
normal. So
Why are you bringing me?
I'm just putting it like, don't mind me, don't mind me.
Let's
But yeah.
have a conversation after this show.
Was there?
If it's not your thing, then definitely, let her know. Talk about it. I think open the communication lines. Let her know what you're willing to do, what you're willing to compromise on when it comes to the bedroom. And if she's not open to it, then maybe you guys need to go your separate ways.
Exactly.
A couple of in fact, quite a number of comments. Jay says, Wallahi, you're not going anywhere. You have to learn, that's all. Masa, do you know the things people do? What's the difference between licking the JJ and the armpits? If she is
there's a
neat,
difference.
you're good to go. There's nothing, boss. You will get used to it. Must you always have an ordinary experience? She's different. Embrace it. Even if you choose not to have sex till marriage, you should discuss sex so you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
Akosia says, where are you running to, Mr. Man? When you guys were courting, did you ever discuss your sex life and your sexual fantasies? I won't advocate for premarital sex, but if you believe in no sex before marriage, then you have to talk intensely about your sex life with your to-be. Foster says, you made a big mistake, boss. Even if both of you opted for no sex, you should have at least discussed your sexual desires before getting married. These are some of the petty things that the youth of today don't value, but it has devastating effects on marriage. Now it's either you're out or in. And do the needful, because that's what turns her on. Nothing can change her desire. I pray you guys don't seek your sexual desires elsewhere. Excuse me. And then Pearl says, haha, test the thing before you buy it. Say no. Now
Ayo.
see what you bought for yourself.
That's going to buy paint.
Elam says, na lie, you will lick armpit and sack toes. I said no sex before marriage, no day my dictionary inside.
Oh.
Don says, hey, this is nothing. Are you aware of the various things people do to spice up their sex lives? Please learn to love it. Why? Junior says, what help? You will soon do it, my brother. That's what turns her on. That's just by the way. But the wife too, armpit and toes, dear bonnet bang. I think now having
comment.
sex before marriage is somehow good. Akosia says, the fact that you're not having sex doesn't mean you can't ask questions.
Yep.
You could have discussed what turns each other on before getting married. There's nothing wrong with being naughty with your partner, even if you're not having sex. Talk about sex too. Talk about sex. It's not a taboo. And finally, Malik says, village man.
Oh.
I'm totally disappointed in you, Mr. Man.
Wow.
Just this, and you are here complaining.
Oh.
Hey.
It's very
Malik
sad
has been doing since.
and painful when you marry a village man like this type. And for your information, do you know what it takes to bring happiness into the marriage? Or all you are thinking is that she just opens and, after you release, no, next thing will be, honey, have a good night. Shame on you, Mr. Man. Hey, I'm actually
Malik.
surprised at the comment.
Me too.
Yeah, very
It's that way
surprised.
we are vanilla.
Yeah, we are.
The guy ball.
Wow.
There's also a misconception that I noticed in the text messages. And it's to the effect that once you are married to someone, you're supposed to do all the styles because they want it. No.
Right.
No. It has to be discussed and agreed. You can't say because I'm your wife, you're
Yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to bend and do every style.
Right.
No. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Claudia had to clear the air. Yes.
It has to be
We'll go
mutual.
for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.